Breaking news on Warriors Today by Chat Sports. The Golden State Warriors versus Utah Jazz game tonight has been postponed after a very heartbreaking and sudden passing in the Warriors franchise. I am your host, Allie Barefoot. I'm going to break down more about what happened during last night's tragic events and into the early mornings. I'm also going to break down what this means for the Golden State Warriors moving forward without now their assistant coach. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski did tweet out this news that Golden State assistant coach Dejan Milojevic had died. Milojevic was 46 years old and he was hospitalized on Tuesday in critical condition after reports did say that he suffered a heart attack during last night's private dinner with the team, some Warriors coaches and players, but he has been a Serbian native and he did join the Warriors staff about 3 years ago, so he was a part of the Warriors 2022 championship team, and he has been very influential in crafting a lot of very famous bigs in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors also did release their own statement about the passing of who they call Coach Kiri and how tragic it was, and of course there was a beautiful quote in there that I will break down in just a few moments from Steve Kerr, but they did address that this was a very tragic, sudden death, and of course he did suffer a heart attack at a private team dinner in Salt Lake City ahead of what was supposed to be the Warriors-Jazz game tonight. I do want to point out one quote here from Steve Kerr that released it out to me about their assistant coach, Kiri. Dejan was one of the most positive and beautiful human beings I have ever known, someone who brought joy and light every single day with his passion and with his energy. And whenever you hear one of these quotes, it's definitely very heartbreaking, but to know that he was loved, he was an incredible addition to the Golden State Warriors franchise. And of course, Steve Kerr did give condolences to his family and friends all over the world, including his wife, Natasha, and their children, Nikola and Masa. He did say that this loss is unfathomable. And of course, they were with him throughout this entire thing. Adrian did tweet out a few hours ago that this game was postponed. It was postponed hours ago while they were still trying to determine what was going to happen with the assistant coach. They have not announced when a new time or a new date will take place to be able to take on the Utah Jazz, who are 22-20 so far this season. But this was the last away game of a very long away stretch. They will now return home for the next 5 games for the Golden State Warriors. I will break down what the Warriors' future and rest of month will look like without their assistant coach. But first and foremost, I do want to ask you guys to go on ahead and hit that sub button for me, because if anything does happen, just know that we will post about it right here on Warriors Today by Chat Sports. This is unfortunately still a developing story, so any new updates, I will either make a short on YouTube or I will make a full video to keep all Golden State Warriors fans up to date on anything that does happen in the franchise. So go on ahead and hit that sub button for me. And like I said, they were supposed to play in Salt Lake City, Utah tonight against the Utah Jazz, but of course that was postponed hours ago while Coach Kiri was still in critical condition. This was supposed to be a very big game for the Warriors going up against Lauri Markkanen. They did just recently lose to the Grizzlies, so this was supposed to be a very turning point game for the Warriors, as the Utah Jazz have struggled this season but have been on some sort of a win streak. But at that point, there comes a time when basketball just isn't important. We did see this when DeMar Hamlin went down with the Buffalo Bills. They canceled that game furthermore and had the Buffalo Bills just pay their respective time to deal with what they just happened, which I do assume is what the Golden State Warriors are going to do as well, because last night when this did happen in the private dinner, the Golden State Warriors were with him the entire night. They were also checking on him throughout the day. They never left his side, which is a very heartwarming feeling, knowing that Coach Kiri was not alone despite being away from his family and on the road. He had his Golden State Warriors family with him the entire time, and they did not leave his side. But the more important story here is, who was Coach Kiri and what did he mean to the team? Like I said, he had been with Steve Kerr's coaching staff since 2021. He was very well known with Siberian NBA players, of course, Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. He's worked with them significantly as being a native from their homeland, and he did play in Siberia for 15 years. He actually was known as a Siberian Barkley, well known after Charles Barkley because he did play overseas for so long, but he has been a huge reason why Kevon Looney has been so influential for the Golden State Warriors. He primarily did work with the bigs, like I said, with Jokic and Kevon Looney, so he definitely will be missed amongst all of the Golden State Warriors franchise. Steve Kerr had beautiful things to say about how influential Coach Decky is. I saw numerous pictures out there just about how he was laughing on the bench with these teams and what this is going to mean for the Warriors right now, as they have been struggling this season on the court, and sometimes off the court there has been some body language after some games that the Warriors are just tired. So to have something like this happen as well, it is very heartbreaking. But the good news is that when there is some sort of tragedy, this is a time for Warriors players to start to come together and to really make sure that they are there for each other in this time. There are things bigger than basketball out there. And when you do have a death like this, it allows the Warriors just to regroup, come together, spend more time with each other, and hopefully they're going to be able to use this to move forward and know that Coach Decky is still going to be with them as they continue to play the rest of their season. They will not play tonight against the Utah Jazz, like I have said before. That game has been postponed. And when the Warriors do return, they are actually going to come back to a home stint, which does make me feel a little bit better. They're not going to be on the roads. They're all going to go back now to San Francisco and be with their families and hopefully pay their respects to Coach Decky's family as well. They do play the Mavericks as of right now on Friday, January 19th. They will have a home stint against the Hawks, the Kings, the Lakers, and the 76ers. And while there are more important things in basketball, these are going to be some pretty big matchups for the Golden State Warriors moving forward. So there will be more information that will come out in terms of what the Golden State Warriors need to do to be able to adjust and get the team back together. But like I said, sometimes when there's tragedy, it does allow the team to rally together. And I hope that they do understand that whatever Coach Decky has done for them personally, they can use that and move forward. I cannot fathom what happened during last night's private dinner, but I do hope that there will be leaders on the team, such as we've seen the veteran core of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, who have been a voice of leadership on the court and off the court for the Golden State Warriors. And of course, Steve Kerr, who has been there for a decade now, can provide some kind of light, and these younger players can know they have other older players to lean on, and vice versa. Everybody deals with grief a little bit differently. However, they will not play basketball tonight, which is the most important thing. But like I said, this is a developing story. The Utah Jazz game will be rescheduled at some point, and despite what has happened, they do have a tough stint of games that are coming up. So I do hope the Warriors take the time that they need to be able to recover, to regroup, and to be able to mourn the way that they need to before they can get back on that court. They have been 18-22 so far this season. So I do hope that whenever the game is rescheduled, they have had time to figure out what they need to be able to move forward, and they can all lean on each other, as the 46-year-old assistant coach did pass away last night during a dinner. He passed away today, late Wednesday morning, but he did suffer a heart attack during last night's private team dinner with some coaches and some players. So unfortunately, that is the heartbreaking news we have today, but I want you guys to hit that sub button for any other breaking news that we will have here on Warriors Today, including when that Utah Jazz game will be rescheduled and when the Warriors will resume play. But until then, hit that sub button for me on Warriors Today by Chat Sports.